3-year-old boy who is stuck in Griffith. Are you able to facilitate something with the Queensland Premier, get on the phone to her and ask her for some help?
Oh, look, it's always heartbreaking when we see so many examples every day, such as that one. And I just ask every state premier to, as we do in New South Wales, and Minister Hazzard on a daily basis is making exemptions every day for people who are in dire situations. And I just ask everyone to consider those cases, consider those exemptions, and also to have a compassionate approach, because we know that living during a pandemic is difficult enough, but when families are torn apart and when children are separated from parents, it's especially difficult.
Premier, just on that, call the Queensland Premier and ask her.
Yeah. Okay, but regrettably, whilst that case has been highlighted, there are hundreds and hundreds of other cases like that. And I just want to put that on the record that whilst we hear about these cases from time to time, there are hundreds and hundreds of cases like that every day. And that's why all of us, no matter which state we govern and what our circumstances are, all of us have to display a degree of compassion and understanding, because perfection in a pandemic can never be achieved.
Premier, just on that, this morning Anastasia Palaszczuk has said that if the New South Wales model is what's going to be adopted, that there needs to be serious discussions. She's tweeting that the Doherty Institute predicts that even with 70% of the population vaccinated, 80 people will die each day 6 months after the outbreak. Is that your understanding of the Doherty Institute?
Look, I can't see what those, I don't want to comment specifically on those figures, but I will say this, that firstly, we have to accept we're in a pandemic, and of course reducing the mortality rate and increasing vaccination is key, but we also have to put things into perspective. The sad reality is, outside of a pandemic, we lose between 600 and 800 people every year to the flu. We have to put things into perspective. Nobody likes to talk about this because it's confronting, but we have to get back to living with life as normal as possible, knowing that COVID is amongst us. And the one positive thing that that comment and those numbers fail to accept is the Doherty report says in due course, when you're transitioning between 70% double dose and 80% double dose, as Dr Chan and Minister Hazzard and others have said on a number of occasions in addition to me, is that you start normalising living with COVID when you have high rates of vaccination, when you have lower rates of people going into hospital. The case numbers are less relevant, but you are going to have death. You have death from the flu. It's a tragedy. I was providing a supportive message to the Heart Disease Foundation the other day, and 50 people every day lose their lives to heart disease. Death is horrible, but we also need to put things into perspective, because at the moment there are 8 million citizens who don't have a choice in how they spend their free time, who don't have a choice about what they can do when they can leave their homes. That is no way to live. And Victoria's going through the same. And Victoria's had 6 major lockdowns. So life is difficult, and what we have to do is sensibly transition to what living with COVID is like. Generations earlier, our forefathers and foremothers would have had to have thought about how they live with the flu, because flu used to kill, especially those vulnerable without the vaccine. So we have to get very real about what we're facing. And I know sometimes it's difficult to hear. And I remember specifically the day that I said we'd never get to COVID zero, but that's the reality. And what we need to do is live with COVID normal, and getting to 80% double dose adult population gets us on our way.